Hello, I am making Sundays book review days because I've been reading The Magician's Nephew. In the chapters I've read, which is like 3 chapters, I think, 2 people meet, little kids, Polly and Diggory, and they kind of explore houses, and they're like, oh, let's go to this vacant house and explore and stuff. And they think they're in that house, but they're actually in Diggory's mad uncle's attic room instead. And he's like, wah! And this is what I found really creepy. On page 15, the Uncle Andrew, is like, you've no idea how lonely I sometimes am, but no matter, go to your dinner. But I must give you a present before you go. It's not every day that I see a little girl in my dingy old study. Especially, if I may say so, such a very attractive young lady as yourself. But then get this. Polly began to think he might not really be mad after all. She fell for this? And that's just creepy. When my mother read this to me when I was really little, before I went to bed as like a bedtime story, I did not catch on to that major creepiness. That's amazing. She falls for it, she takes the ring, and then she gets transported into another world, which is really cool. But then Diggory's like, no, she's gonna die, blah, 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 what are we gonna do? And so the uncle's like, mwahahaha. You have to go and save her, or you could just go explain to her parents how she is gone forever. So then he's like, you coward, blah, 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 why don't you do this? And that reminded me of in the Odyssey, Odysseus, he didn't go to the Lotus Eaters, he sent his men, which is smart, because if he had wanted to stay there, then his men would have had no chances of getting back, not that they had any chances because they all died. But it reminded me of that, kind of. And then on page 26, he even said, but the idea of my going myself is ridiculous. It's like asking a general to fight as a common soldier. So it's like, whoa. I'm thinking. Page 24, Diggory said, it was a jolly cruel thing to do. I think that's so hilarious how everything starts with jolly. Like, everything he says is jolly. It's great. I mean, people should say jolly more often around here. He goes to try to save her with 2 rings, 1 green and 1 yellow, and he finds her, and they're like, oh, we've been here forever. And then they say, oh, I think I know you from somewhere. And then they realize what happened, and then they're like, whoa, we have to get back. So then they test things out, but then they realize that they could go exploring, because they have the option to go to tons of different worlds that no one's ever been to before. On page 38, it says, why, if we can get back to our own world by jumping into this pool, mustn't we get somewhere else by jumping into one of the others? When I was little, when I was reading that, I pictured pools like swimming pools with like chlorine and stuff. I didn't actually picture pools and forests. That's really weird. Like, if I think about this book, I don't really remember it well, but all I think of is just a field of swimming pools. On page 42, Polly says, it's a good thing one of us has some sense. And Diggory says, well, don't keep on gassing about it. It reminded me of Ron and Hermione, how they always quarreled and stuff, and the girl was the smarter one, and the guy was like, I'm cool. I don't need this. And so I thought that was really interesting. Next Sunday, more book reviews.